Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today, I am going to be hobbying and hanging out while we wait for the Warhammer community reveals. Hope everyone there is doing well. Yeah, we're going to be painting some minis while we wait and chatting all things Skirmish games, because the Skirmish game reveals coming up, which is going to be awesome. So, what hobby has everyone been getting up to? Just getting at my wet palette all set, get the air bubbles out of it. Get beginning some painting. Been painting up some Lumina for Underworlds lately, trying to get a nice little 750 point force of them all done up. It's been a ton of fun. Painted up some Blood Bowl minis the other day as well, which is pretty exciting because we're going to see some more stuff for Blood Bowl today. Goddamn Lumina spheres everywhere. But yeah, if you're in the comments, let us know what you've been up to, what you're hobbying on. I'd love to hear from everyone. Get this all sorted. Jim of Armias, hello, painting 30 flagellants for your cities at Sigma. Nice. So, little force of Lumina, nice 750 point force, 10 Sentinels, 10 Wardens, 5 Blade Guard, Blade Lords. Hey man, we start early. Come hobby and chat while we wait. I've got nothing better to do. Oh, and Banner needs to change over now to. Where are we? I've got my. Let's remove that banner. We are actually live. Thanks, John, for getting me to change my banner up. But yeah, everyone has been doing well. We're always nice and early with the hangouts. So let's just check where we're going to begin paint wise. Just start getting the hair all nice and done. So paint block. But yeah, what hobbies everyone have been working on? Got these Lumineth done. I've got some Kings of War I want to get done, and my what's it called? Aeronautica Imperialis I want to get done as well. There's my hair scheme. Got it all laid out for me. Okay, your shanty bone is what I need next. Your shanty bone. Big dollar brush. Yeah, what are we hoping for tonight, everyone? What does everyone want to see? I think the most exciting one for me, I think, is Warcry. Like, we're probably going to see the new edition of Warcry come out, which will be sweet. I absolutely love Warcry. Casting? Yeah, like, we might see definitely some looks at Imperial Guard. Like, I think the what do we call it? The Kill Team box set would be really interesting to see what we sort of see. So we're just going to put the first highlight on our hair. But yeah, so pretty exciting news. I left the day job about a couple of hours ago. So I'll be home a lot more. help the wife look after the kiddies. Also, hopefully able to do a bit more live streaming for people, which would be pretty sweet. Yeah, so we'll be hopefully getting the live streams, like get like 2 or 3 a week, maybe even more. Depending how we go. I'm just gonna share and make sure everyone knows we are live. So I forgot to do that, like the professional streamer I am. But how is everyone doing? Anyways. Yeah, we can get a little bit of this done. So yeah, slightly smaller brush. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting times. I've been home a lot more, help the fam, but also home a little bit more means I can stream a little bit more. Hopefully get a little bit more hobby done and get more stuff happening on the channel for people. So kill team wise, what do we reckon the box is going to be? I have a feeling we're going to see Leagues of Votan in the kill team box. I just feel like it'd be a great way to like introduce them, get people to get a couple of Votan models to get excited for. I think it'd be a really cool one to add for me personally. I think. What does everyone else think? I think adding Leagues of Votan to kill team would be great. A great way to introduce them. You know, give everyone access to getting a couple of models early. Probably the first thing that would be the interesting one, whether they are going to like verse like Kaskin. The other one that's been thrown around is like Kaskin and Jinx to the cult, which would be really cool. But I could also like see like Corn Marines in there as well, maybe. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what like happens with Guard. I'm really excited. I do like a lot of the new Guard minis, John. I think there's a ton of cool minis coming out. I really like the Ursula Creed model. I think she's amazing. But yeah, so got a Hobart GT coming up. I've got to sort of decide on army for. highlighting done on all this. First two highlights on the hair. Simon, hello. Help with what, my friend? Yeah, it did look like that, which would be really cool. Like, Dawn is my least favorite promo. I'm not big on Imperial Fists, but it would be cool. Like, I really like the Anglo model. I like big centerpiece models. I think it is something that 40k really lacks that Age of Sigmar has in plenty. Those amazing centerpieces. So it's cool to see something like Angron coming out and getting that awesome centerpiece status model for an army. But what are we working on, Simon? Doing much hobby today or tonight or wherever it is, whenever it is? Can you hear a little bit of noise in the background? That would just be my daughter complaining that she has to go to bed. Putting out the biggest fight for the wife, who has graciously let me stream tonight. Nate, hello mate, how are we? Daughter's mother's sacred can feel power. Yeah, so it all stems from, there are two Primarchs I don't like, and that is Vulcan and Dawn, and it stems from when my local gaming group, we would just have these two people that one of them was an Imperial Fist player and one of them was a Salamanders player. And they would just relentlessly go on and being, but Dawn did this, but Vulcan did this, but Dawn did this, but Vulcan. And it just made the whole community of my local GW absolutely hate both products. Like Imperial Fist were a dirty word, and so was the Salamanders. So much so that when we did a giant apocalypse game and the Salamander player had his army get eaten by the table as one of the table quarters, the old style apocalypse where you would remove table quarters if apocalyptic explosions happened. Well, his table with all of his salamander army on it erupted and killed all his salamanders, and so everyone cheered, even the good, even his allies. And that is why I don't like either. Is more because of my experiences in my communities with those armies is why I don't like them. They just leave us out there. That's it, mate. Hope you feel better soon, man. Speaking of that, I have a Horus Heresy box literally right underneath this table here. Um, we're going to start getting some Horus Heresy content happening on the channel very soon. I look forward to getting my Blood Angels on the table because I will be doing the Blood Angels. If I do any more. Yeah, it is one particular person that just made me dislike them. They, sort of pushed my prejudice for it because this person was always pushing them. A person who goes, but this Primarch is the best because all the time can turn you off something pretty easy. Yeah, for me, my favorite three legions that I'll probably look to do as my legions for the channel will be Blood Angels, Raven Guard, and Alpha Legion. I really like Blood Angels, just the story of them, of the and then Raven Guard and Alpha Legion are very much like the covert ops sort of Space Marines, which is something I really enjoy. I guess if we had to even it out, and I had to pick another traitor legion to do, like if I had to do 2 and 2, who would I do as my second traitor? Hmm. Who would I do as my second traitor legion? I really don't know if I had to even it out. Because obviously, Blood Angel and Rainbow Guard make for 2 loyalist legions. Hmm. I like Emperor's Children. I don't like Death Guard. I don't like World Eater's Barkhan. Um, like I like Khan, but I don't really like the World Eaters beyond Khan, so I wouldn't want an army of them. Iron Warriors would be up there. Iron Warriors and Sons of Horus would be the 2 I'd probably toss up between, I think, for a second one. Night Lords are cool. Night Lords would certainly be, I think, they'd be easily my 3rd place, if that would be for me. Like, I don't know who is number 1 on like my second after Alpha Legion, like who is my number 2. Like number 1 for Traitor Legions, Alpha Legion all the way for me. And it's a toss up between Sons of Horus and Iron Warriors, I think. Probably Sons of Horus, I think, and then Iron Warriors, then Night Lords. My problem is I like a lot of the Sons of Horus. Sons of Horus, the one where I like the Thousand Sons. Yeah, Thousand Sons would probably be the next one. Like they'd be like Thousand Sons and Night Lords are sort of those ones where they're cool, but I'm not really over affiliated with them. Much the same as like Space Wolves. I think Space Wolves are cool, but they don't really sell me in any way. I do like a lot more Loyalist Legions more than I do like Traitor ones. Quite funnily, I quite like 30k Ultramarines. I think Ultramarines. In fact, I quite like Ultramarines in general. I don't. It's just a fun meme to sort of hate on Ultramarines at this point, isn't it? Like Ultramarines, even in like Euro Ventress, is awesome. Kato Sakaris is a cool character. I enjoy reading about Gilliman in 40k now as well. I think he's really cool. Yeah, I do like Anoy Theo. There's some really cool characters in the Ultramarines. Captain Ventanus. I like Euro Ventress, so it makes sense. I like Ventanus as well. I don't mind the Dark Angels either. Like 30k, I think they're really interesting. Uh, White Scars are interesting as well. I'm just going to turn the heater on. little bit warmer in here. I'm going to put my brush. Just turn my brush. Where did I put it? I have lost my brush somehow. Drop it. Dropped it. Guilliman's really interesting. Like, Guilliman's interesting because he understood that like there was more to being a Primarch. I mean, to the point where like Horus's whole idea was to separate Guilliman away from the rest of like the good guys, because Guilliman was the one who could organize something to combat Horus. Like, he knew that having someone with the organization ability of Guilliman against him was not good. Yeah, it's sort of the difference between Guilliman and Corax. Like, Corax is really good at all that micromanaging stuff. Well, Battlefield Roll. There's lots of like stories of like Corax and Guilliman like being quite equal in their tactical acumen on the battlefield, but Corax can't do the backfield stuff. So where like Corax can win a fight, a battle against Guilliman, he'll always lose the war, because Guilliman just has that extra like little bit of know-how on like the supply chains and all that sort of stuff is what Guilliman wins on. Like, he might on the battlefield he's equal to many of his brothers, but it's that back thing where he will win the war thanks to that extra ability he has, extra knowledge he has that his brothers don't. Only really Horus has that other capability than him. I'll be back in 2 secs. Apparently the wife needs a hand because the little boy's decided he wants to play in the middle of the night. So I'll be right back, everyone. All right, we are back. The man is back in bed like he should. Sorry, everyone, and Arnold, lovely to see you. Long time, mate. Like I said, I haven't managed to stream as much as I want the past few months, so it's been a good seeing everyone again. All the names I love to see around the place. Yeah, it's still a little while away. As always, love coming in a little early so we can all chat and hobby and hang out together. Little man playing with the, as the kids, he thinks he's being quiet, but then he's playing with, an Emma Wiggle card that has like honking noises and beeps and makes noise, and the wife's putting the daughter to bed. In the other room, it's just like he's obviously out. Thinks he's being quiet. He's got this current thing where he thinks he's hiding, and he will go like this. He will have a toy out of his room, and he'll be like this, and then he'll look to one side. And he goes like. Thinks he's being incredibly smart and hiding from him. He thinks he's hiding. I mean, it's adorable, but oh, nice. If you do have it, share away in the Discord server, man. If you're not in there already, go share away in the Discord server in the hobby chat. He thinks he's been. He thinks he's hiding so well. It's adorable, but it's just like go to bed now. Got the first highlight done on the half. The highlight for the awesome, man. I'll check it out after. They always share your hobby in there. If you want me to see it, tag me when you make a post. But yeah, how have you been, Arnold? For those who don't know, I think I've mentioned to a couple of people that were here early in the chat. Left the day job today. It was so done with that. This is my job. So you'll be seeing a lot more live streams night time. Probably later than this. I won't start quite as early unless there is something special on, and we do the normal big long live stream that we do during our reveal shows. But yeah, so no more day job. This is the job. And I'm home to help more with like my daughter. For those who don't know, my daughter has ASD, autism spectrum disorder. So being home to help the wife with the difficulties that can pose. Sure makes for a good time. Quite happy about it, to be honest. Quite excited about it all. Awesome, man. That's fantastic news. I'm happy one year. Yeah, we're coming up to like I think 4 years, but like 2 years really pushing the channel like, on a proper basis. On that note, Arnold, I did apply for the Australian ETC team. Why not? There weren't many Australians in the actual Australian ETC team that last year, so I'm like, you know what? It'd be cool to go over and play Warhammer in another country. So threw my hat in the ring. And if I do make it, well, if I do make it onto the ETC team, I'll be coming over to the Netherlands, to Worlds in the Netherlands. So who knows? If I do, we will certainly have to get a game in, Arnold. And dude, 317. I remember when I hit my first 100, I was amazed. Like every subscriber counts at that level. It's awesome to see someone get numbers at that level. Dude, I would pay if that was what I was going to get against you, and I get over there. I will bring a Necromunda game to play a game against you. That'll be my promise. If I do end up getting in the team, I'll take a Necromunda game to play against you. If I do get in the team and I do come over, we will certainly have a game. I believe the finals are being held in the Worlds, being held in Amsterdam. Who knows? One of my favorite bands is actually Dutch. Epica is one of my favorite bands, and they're Dutch, and maybe might even be home, and I might be able to go see an Epica gig while over there. But yeah, got my first GT plans. Just in the dining room. Kids are just being a little bit troublesome at the moment. Wife might need her hands. It's just easier when I'm inside. So I'm just at our kitchen table today. Just a little bit easier while the kids are a bit more full on. Yeah, if you're joining us live, let us know what you're up to and how you're doing. Love to hear from everyone on what hobby you're all getting up to. Next Thondia style campaign. So do you mean like Season of War Thondia? Next one. Like I think the obvious thing is to play Season of War and make it into Gallant. Like that's what they did with Thondia. Let's do it with Gallant. Designers are taking land areas instead of relics. So what exactly do you mean by that, John? What style of thing? Are we talking like Season of War Thondia, or are we talking like the match battle play? Green Gruger, hello. Paying some Necromunda Prospectors, the Ironhead Prospect. They're really cool. Necromunda is one of those games we're going to be looking at getting into. Season of War, they John. Sorry, missed that completely. So yeah, I would just do Gallant. Like, you could do some really interesting sort of scenarios where, like, you don't reveal sections of the board. There was a really cool scenario back in the day where you divide the board up into, say, 6 sections, and you would have your starting armies, and your opponent, like, you would start with one of your 3 table quarters explored. You start on the 2 edges, and then your opponents would pick which units are in which quarter. And as soon as you moved into another table quarter, you would find your units over here. I would make the next one a lot about trying to deal with the unknown of fighting the tunnels. So lots of random things to happen in like tunnels and stuff like that, because that's what Gallant's supposed to be. It's why one of the things I have struggled with the current GHB is that it doesn't really make sense when you see the tables. They don't fit Gallant's theme at all in match play. Alrighty. Yeah, haven't had a look yet, just yet. Go on, give me a second. Yeah, it's really cool. What's that from? Where's that model from, man? Nice, cool. Hello, Alex. How are we? That's a fair way to put it. Can't say I'm too familiar with many anime. I have not watched a lot of late. It's been a while since I last watched an anime properly. Doing good, man. Like I said before, to some of the others, uh, left my day job to be home with the wife more, and so I can do this some more, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Angron, I really like him. I mean, it looks like I would think Angron would look. I like that it's not some centerpiece model that's balanced on one foot precariously that's going to snap at the drop of a hat. I like that it's nice, big, and bulky. Angron's supposed to be this monster. Just looks like he could, he's supposed to look like Brock Lesnar that could destroy absolutely anyone anytime he wanted. Um, so I really like the model. I think it gives me an opinion, and it would be a much nicer, large centerpiece model than to like travel with than a lot of the other ones. Um, look at him, look at Bellico. I think they're so much easier to travel with those particular models than it is, say, something like Alario or Teclis, um, where they've made these really cool poses, but they didn't stop to think whether they should make that cool pose or instead make it maybe something a little bit more simple and a little bit more together that would make the miniature more friendly to travel. Because let's face it, like the vast majority of us like travel to play war games. Um, so yeah, I quite dig the new angle. I do think he may be a little busy. There could have been some flat areas on the Angron. I do think he's a little busy, but definitely not overly too. Yeah, the Silent King, I will say, is a little bit better. Like, obviously, he's a floating base, so that's its own issue. But at least, like, the vast bulk of the Silent King, you're not going to snap too many pieces, knocking that, accident, like, knocking it over on the table. Where, like, you swing a hand accidentally and you, like, mistime a checklist, and you can just snap checklist straight off, um, you know, because he's so flimsy and attached. Same like Alariel. Archaon is another really good example of a model done right. Yeah, you've got a couple of little dangly bits like the chains I've snapped on my Archaon before. But I think like the vast majority of Archaon is nice and bulky and sort of centered well. So he looks dynamic with those giant wings, but he's built really nicely. So you're not going to have an awful lot of breakages on your Archaon. It's like the difference, right, between this here and a warden. It's got this giant pokey thing that sticks out. It's got all these flamboyant things. But then look, you've got all these breakable fiddly bits on the sentinel as well. But because it's all nice and tight within, a solid like little frame, the worst you're going to do is probably snap that tip off your option. Archaon isn't. Archaon's not fun to stick to the base. I'll say that. It definitely took me a while to stick to the base. But once he's down, if you use plastic glue, once he's down, he is down to that base. I don't think he's going to be the biggest problem. When I built my Archaon, I realized how the base was going to go down. So I built the bottom half of him, attached the base, and then built up from that. Yeah. We'll say I haven't broken any of my Luminef yet. I've said that on camera now. I'm totally going to break one tonight. But hell. Drink the paint. No, that is actually my Coke. Vanilla Coke, to be specific. Now, always have your paint water and your drink separate. If your drink's out of, basic arm's reach, you never drink it. Yeah. I've never actually drunk paint water. I've certainly washed my brush. Um, certainly washed my brush in my cup of tea or coffee or drink. Certainly done that, but I've never drunk paint yet. No worries, Arnold. Thanks for swinging by. I'll see you again later. We'll be live during the reveals. Oops. Oh, just something I need to double check. I don't mind it. Like a lot of people dislike it, but I think for the average hobbyist, that sort of stuff's nice to add in. Your average sort of hobbyist that doesn't want, like, just wants to paint that. I don't mind it at all. Yeah, I'm really excited to see World Eaters. Hopefully there's got to be new Corn Berserkers coming out. Surely, it did look like there were new ones in the picture. It's pretty cool. Like, yeah, what is everyone's thoughts on that? What do you all think of like modeled effects, smoke, flame, muzzle flash, etc., wind, magical energy, tactical rocks? But we're definitely seeing like more of it. Yeah, I think for like the average hobbyist, it's a nice thing to have that added. Like, I like it when it can be easily removed, when it's an option in the kit. I think, yeah, and Alex, I think, says it best. It's nice when it's an optional piece in the kit, um, because like I can understand people not wanting to model that and have it there, looking on their miniature. For someone who's not as involved in the hobby, just wants to pick up a cool model, it definitely sells a model really nice. You can also teach new techniques on those particular parts of models to a newer painter. Some people just want to pick minis up that have these cool effects and put them on the table. Um, so yeah, I don't mind them. I like when they're optional. Sometimes I use them in bits and pieces. Sometimes I don't. I will say it just honestly doesn't really bother me one way or the other. Cool minis look like cool minis. I don't think that particular thing ruins any minis for me. Favorite greater demon? It's got to be the Lord of Change for me. Like, I am Lord of Change. Yeah, yeah. It's got to be the Lord of Change for me. Second is probably the Keeper of Secrets, and the other two I'm not really care for either of them, so that can be 3 and 4 in any order. Certainly, my top two are the Keeper of Secrets and the Lord of Change is my number one. Steve, hello, afternoon, wherever you are. Painted 30k Death Guard. Just finished your first AOS army. He's been enjoying your videos. Very, no worries. I'm glad you've been enjoying them, man. Death Guard, awesome. I do love the Death Guard minis. For me, this is one of the most exciting nights, I think, when the GW reveals, because everyone always get. I've said this before. Now, before anyone does, um, no spoilers in the chat, please. Leave everything here for free. If you want to chat spoilers, in the Discord server, we have a spoilers chat for spoilers, which is linked in the video description if you want to go to our Discord. Try not to chat spoilers here. Thalers? Ox? We'll just go with Ox. I know that word. Stream is 10:30, so it's about in an hour-ish, I think, if I'm correct. One of the guys will probably say something. If I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's just under an hour away. We're just sitting, hobbying, and hanging out tonight while we wait, chatting some Warhammers. Oh, nice. Thank you, Alex, for confirming. Yeah, literally about an hour away. Nice. Sigma, I am a big fan. Looking forward to what we're going to see. Like I was saying, I think this is one of the exciting reveal shows because not everyone like shares and leaks this sort of stuff to the secondary games as much as you see for the main games, which is really cool. Why maybe these reveals are more exciting always. Alexander, hello, mate. How are we? How are you doing, man? How's your day been? That's good to hear, man. That is good to hear. Day's been pretty good. I left my day job today. So I'm wearing my new work t-shirt. But mostly I'm coming home to help with my daughter. Like I said, my daughter has ASD, autism spectrum disorder. She doesn't talk. It's a bit full on for your wife, so coming home to lend a hand and be an extra pair of hands on here also means I get to do this. Yeah, I am like slightly underwhelmed by Dexter. There's definitely some tricks you can play around, but I don't think that. I think it's a problem in Age of Sigmar at the moment in general is that lots of things don't feel like they should, and lots of things are powerful. Yeah, that was my end discussion. Is like, at the end, I think me being home, being able to help the family more is the best pathway forward for me. think, pretty sure I have the style ideas, but double check skins. No, I was wrong. So good thing I checked. It's not the color I thought it was. What have to help me organise all my paints because I am colourblind as hell and it is a nightmare for me to try and do. Yeah, Alaric feels like a cut like. So now we're just doing some Paladin Witch Flesh highlights to finish off the hair, all the models, and move on to something else. It's an interesting one because like they're so common in games now. I remember in fantasy when it was like taboo to bring named characters to a game. You did not bring named characters to your games in fantasy. Like, named characters were almost always not allowed in tournaments. But also named character models back then it didn't cost $200 and something dollars. I understand from GW's point, they're never going to ban named characters like big centerpiece selling models. I like when the characters are their true points valid, but also like when they're large enough that they don't become an auto include. Like and like something like Nagash, where he's really good, but he's certainly not an auto include piece in his army. He's definitely worth every single one of those points, but he's not an auto include. Problem is, when so many of these characters are so maybe not costed correctly, so auto include in lists like Marathi is a perfect example. Or she used to be much more a perfect example. Yeah, so the one like I don't think I have many thoughts on for the reveals we're seeing tonight is Underworlds. What do people reckon we're going to see for Underworlds? Because they're promoting it as Underworlds Nether Maze, so we're probably going to see a warband or two, maybe. But what are we going to see? Um, best cavalry option. I think Demigriff Knights are certainly the way to go at the moment. Um, Demigriffs with Lancers on the charge, going in Bounty Hunters with a Frigo General Griffin. I think are a really good value at the moment. Put them in Hammer Hall so they can pile in and attack twice in your opponent's territory. Also, for those who like Warcry 2, you should definitely check out the game if you've got Underworlds models because they all the not this current this current rotation, but all the older ones have rules in Warcry now, and they're absolutely awesome to play with. I just can't see myself buying too much Cities of Sigmar at the moment. I have a feeling that we are going to see Dawnbringer Crusades mostly replace or update along that line. So for me, I'm not much into my Cities of Sigmar at the moment. I'd love to use a vendor. I tagged Sam Pearson, who is Warcry's chief lead developer. Tagged him saying, when can I use the Vengeance in Warcry? On that note of Warcry 2, another one, the White Dwarf issue with the Feck and Corn rules that are kind of rules. So, it is cold. Oh, it's bad. A little bit chilly. Current one has the 4 warbands from Harrow Deep in it. So it's got the 4 warbands in there, which is pretty cool. The rules in there, so a ton of Warcry rules in that, which is really nice. We're looking at about 40 minutes away from the reveal show. In a sec, I'll get to organising and we can all make sure that the live stream is working properly. Yeah, I'm really excited to see some new stuff and see what we get from this reveal. Warcry is certainly the one that's going to be piquing my interest the most, I think. So really looking at getting into Kill Team some more. Yeah, so as we come to closer to the actual live stream, what are people wanting to see? Also, don't forget to drop a like on the video if you haven't already. All of that helps more people come see us when we're live. Yeah, what are we all hoping to see tonight? What are some last minute predictions that we're going to see? Chaos Dwarfs for Warcry. I don't think we'll see Chaos Dwarfs. I do think we're going to see the full Shut warband. I think Warcry will be the Noble Dudes versus Shut. Maybe we might see the Legionnaires as they have leaked as well. They're another Warcry warband for Chaos. Really cool to see. Like they've said, okay, we're not going to do all Chaos, but it seems like the two warbands have given us so far up of Chaos. So it'd be nice to see something not Chaos in there. Be really cool to see like get rules for like custom building like questers in Warcry or something like that. Would be really cool. Night questers, I mean, for Stormcast would be really cool. Yeah, I really do enjoy seeing these weird and wondrous units in Warcry. Um, yeah, just more options in the kits. I think is something I'd like to see. The Signs of the Flame had really cool kits. So did the Canine Shadowstalkers with like multiple build options. Within the kits, I'd like to see more of that. I think the Iron Golems were the other one that had some really cool options for builds, but there are definitely some warbands that are very like they have these builds and not many others. I don't have the unmade. I've seen the box set. At the moment, the only actual Warcry warbands I've got are Canine Shadowstalkers, Signs of the Flame, Untamed Beasts, Iron Golems. I want to get the rest of the ones for the channel. As the channel continues to grow like this, I'll hopefully be able to get more and more stuff put in for Warcry for people to see. I really like to just go and get all the different Warcry warbands and get them all done up. No worries, Alex. Catch you soon. No? Moonstone, yeah, I love Moonstone, man. I think it is an amazing game. I'm definitely looking to get more Moonstone on the channel. Can't say thank you enough to all our patrons and YouTube members who have made all of this possible. Everyone who comes and watches and likes and chats on the videos, it's all made all this nice and possible for us to be doing this potentially like full time, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we should have some more Skirmish games coming. We've got Umber Tourists and Twisted Tooth and Delta 10, Delta 61, or whatever it's called, Delta 16. It's a show off soon, which will be fun. Some more cool Skirmish games. Yeah, John, less than 30 minutes. And we should have more square-based Warhammer. So Warhammer Fantasy should be on the channel, and also some Kings of War coming up as well, and more Conquest. Elder Scrolls. Really excited for Elder Scrolls actually. Dawn Guard and Valkyrie Vampires just got released. So we'll be looking to get them happening on the channel, which would be awesome. We should have Nightingale and Blades as well coming for Elder Scrolls. So it should all be a ton of fun stuff for coming for Elder Scrolls miniature game. Conquest Agro. I've got the Old Dominion box coming. Yeah, starter box for the Old Dominion coming. So we'll have Old Dominion and Spires up, along with our Nords and 100 Kingdoms soon. I'm really excited to get the Old Dominion happening. Conquest minis are just great. I really love Conquest as a game. I really enjoyed playing fantasy. Wolfric Nick, hello. I was wondering when you were going to rock up, man. just chatting about stuff that's coming up on the channel. Talking about Elder Scrolls as well and Conquest. Yeah, Elder Scrolls be a ton of fun. So we've got Blades, more adventurers, Thieves Guild, College of Winterhold, and Nightingales to come for Elder Scrolls, and then we'll also have Valkyrie Vampires and Dawnguard coming soon. Dawnguard box that just got revealed has the doggos in it, which I am super excited for. Conquest, I've got 100 Kingdoms coming, and I'm going to get the spires painted up. Which would be sweet. Just a bit of shifting. Yeah, I'm really keen for Elder Scrolls. Set up the stream and get ready. Yeah, the inner circle stuff, like they just look amazing. To the side for a second, and we'll get the stream all nice and set up. So, setting up this. Yeah, I'm really excited for like Dawnguard and all the animals coming in the Dawnguard set. I think there'll be a ton of good stuff. So we should begin setting up for the stream. That's some weird music coming up in my thing. Okay, God, that was awful. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know what that was. That was not something I followed. That was some random lady singing on Twitch. Do that for now. Alrighty. Cool. That seems to be all nice and set up now, so it should be ready when that goes live. We should be able to get that. Chaos Discordia, hello. Happy Sunday to you too. Excited for the reveals, I hope. Wait. We can get back to doing a little bit of painting. Hope you're all doing well. Not long before we get to start streaming and chat together. Yeah, really excited to see 15 minutes when we should be able to see what we're going to see for the reveals. Any last thoughts? What are we hoping to see? Some of my favorite Warhammer games are the Skirmish games, so I hope we see Amazons for Blood Bowl. That is one of my big ones. I want the Amazons in Blood Bowl. So I can use them as conversions to actually make an Amazon army for fans. Bruce Solomon, hello. And yeah, they would be like. Rumors have been hitting Amazons and vampires potentially for Blood Bowl would be really cool. Myself and Warcry Nick, we're looking at getting Blood Bowl on the channel very soon. I've got 3 teams painted up now. I've got the Dark Elves, the original Orcs, and a Skaven team all painted up and ready to go. And Amazons would certainly hit my list of things to get pretty quick. The Lustrian team would be really cool. I mean, I think you could do like you release Amazons as their own single team, and then you can have like the Lustrian team, much the same as you can have like the Underworld Denizens team. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool to see an Amazon team. And they've got their stream up with their little questions. Okay. Let me know how the sound is for everyone else. Let me know how the sound is on the stream for Warhammer, like their music for you. Necromunda could be interesting. Yeah, I'm really keen to see what Necromunda brings. I do want to get into Necromunda. I'm just not going to buy that Star Wars. Yeah, that's it. That box was quite steep at the entry point. So, how is the sound for everyone? Here we go. Christian Collins often employed by the Orc Commander, killed him enough careless. Wrecker Boy, isn't it? Shams Lambert, name of the channel. So it's actually Warhammer related. So the channel's name is Warhammer. Sinful District is actually where you play Silver Tower. Originally, I was just doing like little news videos on my Facebook page that I already ran. And I really like the idea of the Hammerhall Herald they were doing in Warhammer. I want to do like a news name. What's a cool news name? What about Sinful Herald? Sinful Morning Herald. Based off the idea of a newspaper. We have in Australia the Sydney Morning Herald being one of our largest newspapers here. So it's like Sinful Daily Herald. And yeah, then when I started doing the channel, it turned into Sinful Gaming. Terms of champions, almost every Warhammer Underworld war. Return to World War Band 5 cost most points. That's Morgoth. You're thinking of the right name. Morgoth is not who you're thinking of. You're thinking the giant troll, that's Molog. Molog the Mighty. You were right. I know exactly who you're thinking of as the troll that I used to romp a Stumpy with. He is so much fun in Warcry. Yeah, when he rolls up. So what have we got? Last time we changed. I'm pretty sure it's B because I don't think Swiftblade is in Fast Rider. Oh no, it's G. Oh, I know. That's the reason. We've got some new Warcry missions to play. The latest White Dwarf gave me some missions. I know who the warband that they told us is. The warband's the one where using the Castigator Squad as a warband. One of those dangly little bits of skin. Which of these games is never well, obviously 20 of which of these games has never been part of the Gretchen Revolutionary Committee, because that is from Gorkamore, if that's correct. Spire Hunters are certainly a thing. They were broken as all hell in the original Necromunda. Pretty sure it's Gretchen Revolutionary, yeah, because that is from. Oh, are we going to see a Gorkamore remake? Are they giving us a Gorkamore crowd to here? Yeah, exactly. Great. Kill teams are not uniform in size. Rolling against the stage may feel a handful of grabbers on the space brings a group of them to the table. Which kill team gets the most fighters? I'm pretty sure it's Imperial Guard kill teams. I mean, Alexander, if you really want to play ogres, both the warbands from Underworlds. So in the latest White Book, 477, the one with the Chaos core stuff in it, has the Pirate Dude with his rules, and then also Hierarch's Man Trappers are in the current Tome of Champions with rules. So if you want some ogres that are cool individual models, you can definitely use them in War right now. Oh, greenskins. Yeah, okay, yeah, we've all direction in it, I guess. Players in Blood will have access to a wide range of game-changing ability they can use to secure touchdowns, not seduce touchdowns, or collectively foul their opponent, originally following it non-skilled cold blood, always hungry, titchy, and fumble Rooksky. Pretty sure it's titchy, isn't it? Fumble Rooksky, pretty sure is it. Cold blood and always hungry are rules. I know that. I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's why I don't know Titchy, because I haven't seen the actual rule yet for the Nords. It wasn't a rule. And where was the rule?
Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are live, and it is my pleasure to welcome you today to this special Warhammer Preview Online Summer Skirmish. I'm joined today by the marvellous Wade Price.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, Adam, thank you for that effusive introduction. Pleasure to be here.
It is nice.
Yeah, at a more respectable time.
Delighted
to be at earlier on in this year. It's a different day. I think
literally just finished all the hair.
Preview. We've done quite a few Saturday and early hours of the morning previews this year already. I think this is our first Sunday show.
Maybe show my age. I can't remember that far back, so I couldn't tell you. It might well be. Yeah. Of course, we were in each other's company just last night. I'm going to outweigh as a 20-year veteran of Games Workshop.
As is this man here, yes. We were around here not too many hours ago. There was a big party here at Games Workshop HQ. For everyone who's been with Games Workshop for 10, 20, 30, or 40 years, there was a huge standing ovation for a wonderful man by the name of Clive, who's been at Games Workshop, a member of the family for 40 years, and a few other fine folk as well. So yeah, it was a good night last night, but we're delighted to be back in here today doing what we do. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say best. We certainly enjoy doing it.
That's
talking about Warhammer. That's a fair bar to meet. And it's not just us in this room right now, of course.
We are joined by Raph, the man, the machine, priest, who is making sure
to get in those predictions on what you think we're going to see.
Apparently, Mike Audio is peaking, which will explain why Raph has donned his robes of office and is now scurrying around, making sure that everything is working fine.
It's because in all of our mic tests, we were like, well, we were here till reasonably late last night, so we were keeping it reasonably mellow and chilled. And then we started going live. We started getting our excited, going loud voices on, and the volume started.
It is at least 75% more exciting when you're live.
Hopefully the volume's good for everyone, but
playing the little
really excited to see what we're going to see now.
Maybe some of the late birds, depending on where you are in the world. Don't worry, Adam Troke will play the "Where Are You Watching Us From" game soon enough. We have some.
Oh, I can see some people jumping the gun. I see you pre-press the. Well, I'll tell you what, while Raph continues to work his miracles, the unguents are coming out. We'll ask my favourite question, which is, this is a good time of day.
Where is everyone
2 p.m. in the UK, but I don't know what time it is where you are. Where in the world are you tuning in from to join us?
Where are you tuning in from?
People tune in to find out.
Also, my word, it has exploded. Somebody says the old world. Somebody says the old world. Okinawa, Japan, Australia, Germany, Kentucky, Romania, Coventry, behind me. I'll double check, but I think that was Newcastle, Delaware. Oh, very exciting. Gibraltar. That might be the first time I've seen Gibraltar in the chat, actually. I quite like it when I see places that are new. Spacehawk LV426. Go careful. Oh, somebody says oven crisis. I love you, Adam, with little crying faces. That is kinder than you need to be. Don't cry. It's all good. Wow. I'm going to say the same thing I basically say every time, which is it just makes my heart sing to see people tuning in from all around the world enjoying the exact same hobby and fun that I do.
Great.
So thank you for choosing to spend about an hour of your time with us.
About an hour,
as we go through what is going to be a pretty cool roundup of some skirmish things. Wade, what is a skirmish thing? We've called it summer skirmish.
What
does that
quickly,
mean?
I'm going to quickly take a talk break before we get into this. So I'll be right back.
Preview online before. We're going to tell you about some things that are coming up, some Warhammer things, some Warhammer adjacent and related things. And sometimes they're dedicated to a particular game system. Sometimes they're very, very focused. I think maybe one of the last ones Adam was on was the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness launch box, all about that exciting new edition of the game and deep diving into the box itself. The Skirmish games is a great opportunity to talk about some of the other game systems outside of Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Horus Heresy, what we would consider maybe the mass battle games that take the form of armies battling over tabletops. These are other expressions of the Warhammer hobby of collecting, building, painting, playing games with Warhammer miniatures with smaller numbers of models. Usually a great way of getting into that Warhammer hobby of collecting and playing games with models set in the Warhammer worlds that don't necessarily require the commitment to a particular faction on an army level scale. They can be a great way of dipping your toe in the water of that particular hobby. So games involving smaller numbers of models than complete armies. They do sometimes lead to their gateway games that maybe lead to armies you might find. Warcry is a great example of one of those sorts of games that has been advertised as one of the games that we'll be talking about today. And we will do that. We will talk about Warcry. That's a fact, which is a great snapshot of skirmish gaming in the Mortal Realms, which is the setting of Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
So, did I miss anything important?
Warcry warbands. You just grow into Warhammer Age of Sigmar armies. It happens that way sometimes. It does happen that way.
So I tend to operate the other way with these skirmish games, which is it's my way of keeping me from diving headlong into a different project. I just sort of sate that desire by dabbling with a Warhammer Underworlds warbands. Tend to be the main way I use it.
Cool. Nothing important
in the past.
Awesome.
Like, well, just a few Space Marines in a different colour won't hurt anybody.
Just a bit, just a little bit. It's
how I stopped myself going full Celestial Lions. Was a Celestial Lions kill team.
Very good. Well, back in the day, hobbyists of a certain vintage, I think older gentlemen such as ourselves, it used to be that the Warhammer hobby was largely you collect a 2,000 point army. When you've done that, collect another 2,000 point army. And sometimes there were specialist games that would come and go. I think the skirmish game.
We're about to head into it.
We'll talk about that today as well. Warcry, Kill Team. We'll talk about that today as well. Blood Bowl. We'll talk about that today as well.
I like how you're dropping these in. This is very good.
Just like confirming what has already been communicated about what's going to be going down today, because these games are here to stay. They're not seasonal games. Blood Bowl used to be definitely something that people would play over the summer. I remember when the armies would be not on campaigning season and Blood Bowl leagues would come and then Blood Bowl leagues would go. But if you're the sort of hobbyist that just loves Blood Bowl, or you just love narrative Necromunda games, or you just love Warhammer Underworlds, we'll talk about Warhammer Underworlds today as well. That is a completely legitimate and viable hobby and a great way to explore and enjoy the Warhammer hobby. And if that's what you most enjoy and that's what your gaming group most enjoys, then you can do that. You don't need to
I think
that's a lesser.
I would hope we see a Leagues of Go change for Kill Team. That would be my one.
Which you can also still surely do, but we won't be talking about Warhammer 40,000 or Warhammer Age of Sigmar or the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness specifically today, only tangentially, as I've already mentioned them today. So I've made a lie of myself in a way. But the focus of today's reveal, certainly, the new things that we'll be showing off and getting excited about will pertain to those skirmish games, which you can use in some other game systems, but they'll be branded for the skirmish games. Is that the snappy, pithy, quick answer that you were looking for?
I think it was like somebody wound you up and let you go, and I love it. Yeah. Right, so to summarize, we are here. We're going to talk about skirmish games. We've got videos. We've got loads of cool models to show. It's going to be rad. Raph is going to give me the thumbs up that the tech gods have been sated, that the Omnissiah loves us. Apparently, we've got a mixed relationship with the Omnissiah right now. We're going to go live with our first video in about 2 or 3 minutes. But Wade, before we jump in, I like to find out what hobby people have been doing. Chat, let us know what hobby you have been doing. And Wade, what about you?
Like most normal people, I've spent most of the last 36 hours looking at pictures of Angron and shouting, yes, yes. That's mostly been the focus. myself away to go to the Veterans Do here at HQ last night. But on the other end of the scale, from everything I was just talking about regarding Skirmish games, I've been painting World Eaters for the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness, because the World Eaters are the best. Raf says, bring the microphone closer. We're getting ready to start doing the horse race commentary. Is this better, Raf? Do you want me to start doing it like this? Shall I start commentating like this? Yeah.
It's interesting to see the chat, how the chat is responding. There is an awful lot of Horus Heresy out there. Quite a lot of 140,000 and old Age of Sigmar. There was a swathe of Necromunda up near the front. This is quite interesting. What you've got is essentially up to 15,000 people all giving you their latest bits of hobby. I, for the record, have been painting First Legion models for the Horus Heresy. It's going splendidly. 2 tactical squads, 2 contemptors, a Praevian, which is my favourite model so far, and a Vigilator, not to be confused with the Invigilator, which is an angry teacher in an exam hall.
Pens down.
Although I suspect my Vigilator is no less angry. And I've nearly done a Praetor.
Yeah, you got some, if you're a YouTube member, you've got cool little emojis that you can use.
Big question from collecting First Legion Dark Angels for the Horus Heresy traitors or loyalists.
Well, you see, loyalty is its own reward, so mine will side with the lion, and that's the answer. All the answer you need.
Brilliant, excellent dodge of that particular question. I think you do have to pick one if you're going to play.
Well, so mine aren't hanging around on Caliban like skulking no goods. And see, I don't want to drop any spoilers, but the iffiness of the Dark Angels really comes into its own in the stage of the Siege of Terror that the novels are at now. If you know, you know. But Causewayne is on his way. But maybe not everybody is fully on board. I love it. It's great. Alpha. So sorry again. Says Adam is First Legion, the Dark Angels, or Alpha Legion. I believe the Emperor was quite clear when he put them in order. So Alpha Legion are 20th for a reason. Right.
Got the double cross. You put that in the Legion number. 2 X's. The numeral for 20, but also beware of the double cross. You writ it in plain sight.
Okay, so here we are. It is roughly 10 minutes past 2.
Yep.
We are very, very glad that 16,000 of you have chosen to come and spend an hour with us this week. We're very excited about some Warhammer Skirmish things.
All right, let's see what that first one is. What are we getting first? What are we seeing first? Necromunda Ash Wastes or Warcry? No, this is Warcry. There's dinosaurs. The dinosaurs is Warcry. I'm excited for this. Right, that's a mouthful of tree. Yeah, so we're going to see the starter set. It's going to be the Haunted Eshut. That's those noble dudes. This looks amazing. Oh! Wow, there's some sweet looking minis there. Oh boy. War and Glory in the Heart of Ghur.
War and Glory in the Heart of Ghur. Wade, what is the Heart of Ghur?
The Heart of Ghur is the new edition of Warcry. So skirmish combat in the realm of beasts. Anyone familiar with Warcry, which had been skirmish combat in the mortal realm, set up in the shadow of the Varan Spire, in the Bloodwind Spoil, you'll notice that it has now moved setting to the Gnarlwood in Ghur, the realm of beasts. So that introductory video gives you some clues as to the precise nature of the conflict and the participants and what is going down in Ghur. Right at the very beginning, we saw the kind of cosmic perspective of seeing Ghur from space.
It's pretty cool, right?
It's very cool. And I think one of the legends that is spoken of Ghur is that the landscape of the realm of beasts is predatory. Everything in Ghur is hunter and or hunted. Kill or be killed is the law of the beasts in Ghur. But even the moons of Ghur have taken a bite from the realm itself. One of the moons, legends say, has been eaten. One of the moons has had a bite taken out of it, Gnawl half eaten, and you could see a big chunk missing from one of those moons. But something has crashed. Something came crashing down into the Gnarlwood, which has been referenced and mentioned in Warhammer Age of Sigmar stories as a vast predatory jungle. It's on the ever-shifting borders of Thondia and Galat, which is where
that terrain is awesome.
The beast has been set. So now we're going to see skirmish combat in a new environment. So Warcry Heart of Ghur is a great new box set taking the Warcry experience into this particular Ghurish jungle, and that is what you can expect to find in the box.
That is a really cool set of terrain.
In the box, what you can see here is the contents of the Heart of Ghur boxed game. Everything you need to play Warcry. So if you are brand new to it, then this is the perfect way in. Of course, if you're an established Warcry player, then what you are faced with is some awesome new terrain, which gives you sort of multi-level fighting with those fantastic walkways and the watchtower, and obviously all the models and other bits and pieces you need to increase your collection. Warcry is pretty popular among the sort of Warcom team and the Warhammer TV presenters, isn't it?
Yep. Chris Peach is running a Warcry league in our office at the moment. He's drummed up some more support. His enthusiasm is as infectious as whatever is on the legs
on this,
of
I think.
Rotmire Creed members. Oh, nice. Excellent.
These guys, the Rotmire Creed.
The state of these. So this is one of the new warbands in the box. These are some of the natives to the Gnarlwood, the Rotmire Creed, worshippers of the Great Leech.
Yeah, they are some messed up dudes, I think it's fair to say. As you say, they worship the Leech. The Lord Leech is called, and their whole goal is they sort of are scouring for the perfect pestilence, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be like
some of them have definitely found some pestilences, these sort of suppurating pustules and legions and things on their legs, I assume, but don't know. That's why some of them are wearing stilts, right? They're just keeping themselves a little bit out of the mire.
Yeah, I think so. Because we're talking this morning when I was moving some stuff around in my garden this morning, a centipede was dislodged, and that was just a centipede in Nottingham, which is a pretty grim, dark place. The centipedes in the Ghurish Heartlands and the Gnarlwood itself were probably the size of my dog, and you wouldn't necessarily want to get bitten on the feet by them. But yeah, the absolute state of those going barefooted.
That leader model is amazing.
Without any sort of raised up stilt protection.
I've got to give a shout out to a comment in the chat, which has put a perspective on a thing I've not seen. Somebody said, "Love the hands-free panpipes." And if you look at the guy on the screen right, you ever seen like a one-man band with a harmonica held in front? Yeah. He does look like he's ready to give it a large with the panpipes. There's so much going on with these that they really are fantastic. Here's the other half of the warband, as you would expect.
Wow!
A Warcry warband, you get
these guys
a whole models, 10 models in fact with this one. But the things I like are their goal is to find this perfect pestilence and then turn the entire sort of expanse into a fetid pestilential swamp. And so they've got sort of the trappings of people you expect. Look at these weird sort of mouldering moss and whatever it is on the shoulders of the one on the right-hand side. There's very much a sort of a feral and savage aspect to them. Loads of bones and bits of like procured. But
what do we think of these guys, everyone? What do we think of the Rotmire Creed?
Creepy-looking dudes. The one in the middle, his feet are literally spilling out through his boots.
And yeah, maggots out of the right boot, toes out of the left boot.
Really
There's another expression of what we saw in the very original launch of Warcry, that kind of worshippers, human worshippers of chaos at the ground level in the mortal realms, but who don't necessarily know the chaos gods by the same names we, who are educated and own books, know them by. They don't necessarily know the names of the great chaos gods of the pantheon. They're just trying to get by. They're just normal men, innocent men, just trying to get by in a world that's been ravaged.
Yeah, I think these guys are up there.
Survived the age of chaos through whatever means.
Like, Sons of the Flame are one of my favorite Warcry bands. I think there's a niceness to the Untamed Beast and just the standard sort of barbarian look.
We would probably see some fairly Nurgle-esque qualities to them, but they don't necessarily know that name because they're worshipping.
Can we jump back to the previous slide just for a second, Raph? So the one in the center is the Witherlord, which is the leader of the warband. And I think the thing that's key to point out there is that he may be sort of the one in charge. He's got this unique syringe weapon and a collection of like all pots and vials and things, and he's even got like a weird drooling, poisonous-looking frog sat on his shoulder. The heavy, pardon the expression, if we go back to the second thing now, in the middle, you have the bloated one, and he has a lot in common with the things you'd expect to see maybe from the maggotkin.
Yep.
So the sort of bloated skin, and also, I don't know the answer to this, whether or not the claws, almost crab-like in shape, that are sort of bolted onto his arm. But that's very reminiscent of some of the sort of the putrid Vikings or whatever. So I really like what they've done here. Even though they're not worshipping Nurgle as Nurgle, they're worshipping this Lord Leech. The similarities of that devotion are starting to spill out. Yeah,
and yeah, that fly-shaped pendant on the one on the left-hand side. You can see some of those visual signifiers that we'd associate with, like you say, the maggotkin and the spikes, the nails.
There's some really cool stuff. This is, I think, right out there with one of the coolest ones.
We've read some books. We've seen some things.
Really cool.
All those
comparisons. Look forward to seeing the new Warcry book. The Warcry books have always been really nice.
Vacuum.
But enough on Rotmire Creed. They do not come alone. We previewed these a little bit before. The Horns of Hashut are the other faction
These are cool.
in this box game. What's their deal?
Burn it all down. Burn it all down.
I don't think quite as cool as the Rotmire Creed.
Mics again.
I think these
Burn
guys
it all down. So the Hashut, the Father of Darkness, can come along.
Burn
it down.
So
Hashut, some may be familiar with this name. This is a name from the world that was. This was a god worshipped by some chaotic Dwarden have worshipped this god, a god of forges and demonic artifice.
Cool, but
we see
humans
in this warband that worship this being, this demonic creature, potentially. He's not necessarily one of the greater ruinous powers. We've seen the great horned rat of the Skaven has definitely joined the Chaos Pantheon. We haven't seen a space reserved for Hashut. That opens up kind of interesting questions about the nature of divinity and godhood in the mortal realms. If you're suitably powerful, if you're immortal enough, if you can cause terrible things to happen, if people worship you, maybe you too can become a god.
Names echoing through the aeons and then resurfacing. There's a few cool things to point out about these. First of all, Hook and Pin in the chat. Hello. Asked a question, and that was, can you use previous warbands in this setting? Absolutely yes. In fact, we encourage it, almost to demand that you do. If you've got a warband you love, bring it in and fight in Ghur instead. It's going to be rad.
Yep.
The thing to point out, I guess, is that these are insane devotees of the concept of like forgecraft and flame. So you have the sort of the mainstay of
right, these I like this one. The horns of the ship
carrying sort of the more basic weapons. You can see one with a pitchfork, one with a sort of like a pick hammer, a wedge hammer maybe, and they're the ones who, like, their life's devotion is to keep those forges burning, so they're constantly in the process of like chopping down trees to like fuel the forges, or mining in these horrendous open cast mines, these blots on the landscape, and then they're hoping to progress to be sort of higher up within this Hashut cult. It's pretty awesome. And we were having a conversation, where do you look when you're talking to the ones wearing the bull helmets?
My eyes are up here, above my actual eyes. Look up there. They're definitely going in for the shock and awe. And the names of the individual warband members: Demolishers, Shatterers, Ruinators. They're definitely letting you know what you're in for if you're going to tussle and tangle with them. But yeah, all of your existing.
I like these guys a lot better.
Very much welcome to come and join the party in the Nullwood, and the game itself is still very much the Warcry game. You'll know love if you're already playing Warcry, but this box set is going to be a great jumping-on point for anyone who's not already committed to skirmish combat in the mortal realms.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that really sets Warcry aside as a fantastic sitting in game sort of mechanic is how open and free the movement is. Lots of jumping, climbing, and such. And so the Heart of Ghur terrain matches that. You've got loads of like raised walkways that, like, crudely made. You can have some fantastic jewels in high places. The thing on the left, we spent some. Oh, sorry, there you go, Raph. Thanks, man. That massive skull is a watchtower. You can see it's got like a little horn to sound a warning on the top of. I've no idea what beast it comes from. I spent a little while trying to look. I'm sure at some point I'll be able to find out. But it's pretty exciting to see that the Miniatures team have once again just opened up. Look how claw-like the limbs on the trees look as well.
Yeah, these
like are. You were saying everything's hunter or hunted.
Absolutely, these are gnarl oaks, so you can see that they're kind of stepping through. They're not just roots growing through the skulls. everything in Ghur is predatory, and these trees are as much beast as they are tree. They bleed when you cut them. They come for you. They sometimes feign death so that people come close to them, and then those weird claw hand-like branches will snatch things up, plunge branches and roots deep into living bodies. And
pretty much. That's what it looked like, I reckon, man. You're pretty
quite
bang on
gnarly
the money,
altogether in the gnarlwood. And you also have seen what looks a little bit like some sort of Seraphon architecture. And that speaks to that cataclysmic, catastrophic explosion and crash landing that we saw in that video earlier on. Because it's not just the gnarlwood itself, the jungly setting. Because you might think, well, surely the Rotmire Creed live there, and that's fine. The Horns of Hashut want to burn it down. Why would anyone else want to go into this wood that wants to eat you? It's not just the gnarlwood itself. There are treasures to be found, wonderful treasures.
Are we going to see a Seraphon
void ship, the Eye of Chotek, which has become known as Talaxis, named after an explorer. There's wonderful treasures to be found in there, to be fought over, but you have to survive not only the environment of the gnarlwood, but also the attentions of all of the other treasure hunters and glory seekers who are journeying through the wood looking for these wonderful treasures.
So a few questions in the chat that I might be able to answer. The first was, it's not a gas sort of projector, the weapon that the Hashut worshipper was carrying. It is a flame hurler. Next, what's different about this setting in terms of the rules? Well, the rules have been updated. You can see these are the rules manuals that come in the box. Here you've got a warband tome, and then the core book. They're updated. There'll be some changes. Mostly this is around enabling you to play in the new setting. So if you are an existing Warcry player, you are not relearning the wheel, if that's an expression. I'm not sure it is.
It is now.
And yeah, this will be very familiar. Will the terrain be available separately? I really don't know. Maybe sometime, but obviously the first place you'll be able to get it is inside this box. So if it takes your fancy, then that is the way to strike. I'm aware that we have talked about these for a goodly 15 minutes and we're not even done, but Raf's not waving at me. This is fine. Cool. So this is an example of how awesome your battlefield could look.
Very cinematic, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think this sort of shot sort of conveys that sort of very.
I'd love to make a Warcry board like this highly
where everything is dangerous, and I think those are the sorts of mechanics that we can see playing out in the game. Isn't it? The idea that you're never quite safe.
Not at all, no. And I think anyone who's familiar with Warcry, anyone who's played Warcry games in the Bloodwind Spoil, or maybe made use of some of the White Dwarf content when we saw the Fall of Anvilgard, when Marathi was trying to annex that and turn it into Harkuron, we've already seen Warcry developed and becoming the dedicated skirmish engine for games in the Mortal Realms, and this is a great expansion of that, furthering that, taking the Warcry experience into literally the heart of Ghur. It's written on the box. If you want to keep playing games elsewhere in the Mortal Realms, you surely can do, but this is going to be a great opportunity for everyone who wants to go.
They're not touching the rule system. Warcry doesn't need a rule system.
During the era of the Beast still, while the rest of Warhammer Age of Sigmar is still looking at events taking place in the era of the Beast, in the aftermath of Kragnos waking up, smacking Excelsis around. There's all sorts of stuff kicking off in Ghur, and this is another great way of looking at it through a different prism. Good times.
Exactly so. Right. Well, We've seen the Warcry reveal with this amazing looking new set.
Yep.
Now for something really different.
Yeah.
Necromunda. I mean, this is what we expect of Necromunda, isn't it? Like vehicles. House Goliath vehicle. Yeah, what we expected for Necromunda.
Love that.
The House of Chains has reached the Ash Wastes with the new Goliath Mauler. And here it is. What a kit.
House of Games. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Goliath is my house. I know you're a big fan of House Orlok.
Yep, all day.
You've had a lovely release with the Necromunda Ash Wastes box. You got to see some of how House Orlok goes patrolling those mean roads out in the Ash Wastes and helping the Guild of Coin get their money. And now we're starting to see how some of the other houses might have their representatives out there. I think in the Ash Wastes supplement and the Book of the Outlands, we've seen that outside of the hives, all of those major houses still.
This is why I expect to see Necromunda, really.
Anywhere there's an opportunity to flex, essentially, and assert the values and the power of your house, the prestige of your house. The house masters will look for that, and this is definitely
not much of a Goliath
expressing
one of my
themselves
least
in their
favourite
particular
houses for
style.
Necromunda.
So this is a dedicated.
It's cool, but
vehicle
it's not really
for
doing
House
it for me.
Goliath.
It just,
Everything
this is what
about it's
Necromunda's going to be for a bit, I think.
And I've seen plenty of people in the chat going, "Oh, look, it's an orc vehicle with a Yumi sat on top of it," and I'm sure that's going to come into it as well.
It was what I was waiting for, was the chat to be like, I'm having that for my insert thing, orc chaos champion.
I like the Ash Nomads,
and then Flesh Terror's Chaplain bike coming up, and I think that's been part of the excitement around the Ash Wastes release ever since we saw the first release.
What does everyone think? Does anyone in Goliath in the chat?
Cargo 8 Bridge Hauler, and truck and trailer combo that came out more recently, but the rules in the Book of the Outlands that were just letting people have free reign with the various Genestealer Cults vehicles.
So I've got a Goliath in my Orlok warband.
I can definitely see a Goliath rock grinder sort of device with that huge rock grinder at the front.
Could you imagine one of those driving along with these acting as outriders for it? It would look so good.
And maybe with some sort of orc war bikes tinkered up a little bit with the Goliath bits, because I think the
Goliaths just don't do it for me. They're just
stick bits into the ecosystem. As kit bashers talk about this an awful lot in some of our live shows. The fact that there's going to be more Goliath bits off the back of this kit.
The Untamed Beast,
Goliath gang, there's the
generic sort of
Conan barbarian. It's got more Goliath stuff out there to mix up. This kit comes with more heads, more hairdos, because I think Raf's got an alternative.
Oh, here we go.
It's a cool model.
Oh, more chain hairdos as well. So big fat wheel at the front and big track unit at the back.
I think
this is just what we're going to see from Necromunda.
Is that why you dropped that really good pun?
Yeah, I went for it. The previous one, the major difference beyond the hair styling of the rider is the previous one had that sort of spiked spindle thing for a wheel, and it had bolts, whereas this one has grenade launchers for when you absolutely need to blow what's in front of you to pieces.
Definitely Escher
and I think just it's everything a growing Goliath could possibly want. I mean, what else is there to say? Super dope. It's going to be as pugnacious and dangerous as you could possibly expect it to be. So more information on exactly what it does in the game and all those things will
Ventile's another one of my favourite ones.
Get closer to its release.
I do like Ventile.
Suffice it to say that
it
lacks the agility of the Warlock ones, but it makes up for it in just brutal sort of muscle power and some very, very powerful weapons.
Yeah, it's not a muscle car per se.
Hey, Picnic Fire,
an amount of muscle.
It's a cool model.
And
it's
a great
model. It
expression
just doesn't do it for me.
of
Goliath,
each of the houses would look to
and
have out on the roads to assert itself and assert its dominance. And
this is going to be what we see for
Necromunda. Will start, I am sure, to have people imagining what their particular chosen house might have out in the Ash Wastes. I think it's a great statement for collectors of all of the different Necromunda great houses to think, what might my house have out there? What would be the perfect Delac, Escher, Cawdor junk wagon of some persuasion, just like scrap metal.
Just somebody pulling a
is he actually getting like motorbike?
Just like looting something from the Ash Wastes themselves. But I think a great statement for Necromunda hobbyists, going back to that statement at the beginning of the show, that if you've got time in your life for Necromunda and you just want to throw yourself entirely into Necromunda, there's going to be more great stuff for each of these skirmish games coming up in the future.
Can I just give a shout out to the chat for some truly amazing commentary throughout this? First of all, whoever said an Inquisitor would be fantastic on this, one, I agree, but also two, definitely not one of those subtle investigating Inquisitors. You need to be like a frothing monodominant with your hair on fire. Somebody said not my wheelhouse, which whilst your taste in bikes may be questionable, your taste in puns is amazing. Somebody said this looks environmentally friendly and fuel efficient, and I quite agree. Like the fuel prices on Necromunda are obviously more stable than the rest of the world right now.
Yes, and we were talking when we were taking a look at this stuff before we went live. We're talking about tanks in the real world have to consider the damage that they might do, the environmental damage they might do to the real world. In Necromunda, environmental damage
It's already been done.
Yeah, the inverse is true. So I don't think the environment has anything to worry about.
It's a cool model. It's just not for me, this one.
The tracks.
This is what we're going to see in Necromunda for a
big buzzsaw blades that you could have in place of the big fat wheel.
What game do we see?
And the reason that the biggest boss of 2008, why we are so slow at revealing stuff, is because we really enjoy looking at corny things and talking about it.
Pretty much.
And we're going to be continuing to do so for the next 28 minutes or so. Speaking of which, let's see the next thing.
Yes.
Right, what's next? Ooh, arcane of maze. It's a witch hunter. Yes. Oh, I am so down for this. Wow. Oh, doggo. Just when I thought I was not going to do anything to do with underworlds, they bring this out.
There we have Hexbane Hunters, the
they got two
doggers
doggers
to enter the underworlds. What do you know?
So this is a group of witch hunters of the Order of Azir. So Sigmar's obviously been sending lots of groups of Stormcast Eternals into the various underworlds to keep an eye on everything that's been kicking off in Shadespire and then into the Beastgrave. There's also been groups of the brutal mailed fist of Sigmar's intent, but the Hexbane's hunters, the Order of Azir witch hunters, something that we've seen some expressions of, the idea of more recently as miniatures with the Galen and Doralia Vendents in the Broken Realm saga.
Hang out with them just
I
great.
think so, yeah. And they harken back to some classic Warhammer World That Was archetypes, which is appropriate because that's when Sigmar was from. And I think Sigmar probably carries some of those memories around. But those classic big hat witch hunter archetypes we've seen from the World That Was. I think even this is something like reminiscent of the old Mordheim witch hunter warband in that it's got those brutal mastiff like pit dogs when there's witches or vampires or any sorts of underworld nastiness that you don't necessarily want to sully your hands with. Send a scarred up eye patch wearing dog in to sort it out, while your lummoxes with big axes and pepper pot pistoliers get to sort things out from range as well. So yeah, nice mix of different troop types in this group. Nice aggro warband that's reasonably fragile. They don't have the durability, they don't have the Sigmarite blessed armor to stand up to the responses, but a nice variety of troop types to descend into the Nether Maze with a nice burning torch to represent Sigmar's light illuminating the dark places, which there definitely are in the Nether Maze beneath Harrowdeep.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that to me really appeals here is these feel like the closest thing to normal that, I mean, as normal as a band of hunters of the Order of Azir who are, stalking, I don't know whether that's soul-blight vampires or sort of chaos cults or whatever. I mean,
I've gotten quiet. How's my audio now?
Talking
now?
Is that fair?
Yes.
And as you say, their special weapon appears to be two very, very angry, mastiff-looking dogs. I love them. I think as
These
the
are
chat
just
has already
amazing.
picked up the
really,
possibility
really
for
cool models.
sort of conversion across. First of all, if you're doing Cities of Sigmar type stuff, that'd be fantastic. If you need some friends to hang out with the Vendents, as soon as the War Scrolls for using these in Age of Sigmar come out, well, that's going to be fantastic. But also, if you want to,
probably just me murmuring to myself how much I want these.
The possibilities are endless.
Yep.
Let's not forget, however, you could also use them in Warhammer Underworlds, where, as you've rightly described, they are a fairly fragile aggro warband, which, if you are a Warhammer Underworlds aficionado, will mean more to you than me, who is just I would describe myself as a novice level person. I quite like just trying to use the biggest sword to hit the other person. Yes. What I can do, though, is... Oh, Raf moves the picture so we can look at the card. So this is Haskell Hexbane, who is the leader of the warband. And the first thing you will notice is that he is perfectly willing to sacrifice the other human members of his warband. As the he has the ability Price of Victory, which is a reaction. Every time a hunter is dealt damage, then he can have one upgrade from your hand. So basically, kill his friends, like human friends, and then he gets better. But he obviously doesn't send his dogs into situations he doesn't want to come back from because he doesn't get the bonus from dogs. Thank goodness. That would be cruel. Right?
Not to be encouraged.
Doesn't care about the humans he's working with. Who sent them to go
down? Look really, really fun.
Also,
and
he's a person
they all have great names.
Really cool to see.
So we could, for example, talk about Amos Duncarrow, who is the brawler, the fellow with the absolutely massive axe in the top left. And he's got like his ability is around, basically being around him is reassuring because he's such a brute, like he's such a Hulk.
There's a lot of him to hide behind.
Quite. And he's got some armor, so it feels slightly safer. Bridget Axwold, which is a fantastic name. She's got hair to just die for, absolutely incredible. And as you might expect, she can do a special action with.
I like how they've all, if you've noticed, you can see
like unleashes a volley.
all of them have
we
stakes.
shouldn't. Quiet Pock, who is the crossbow.
A lot of appreciation for the crossbow bomb I see in the chat
because it's not just a normal crossbow.
Oh yeah, wow! I didn't notice that. Yeah, it's got a bomb on
that
the crossbow.
is hilariously funny. Crossbow launcher. It does 2 damage each time it hits, which is great. You've got to be a fan. But the real fan of the show, the chat says it, we've said it, are Rat Spike on the left and Grotbiter on the right. The 2 companion dogs. They're actually Quiet Pock's dogs. He's brought them with him.
Yeah.
And you can just imagine everybody in the warband loves them more than everything else in the whole warband, including each other.
I reckon I know how Grotbiter got its name. There's plenty of grots out there in the world. But yeah, shout out to Rat Spike.
Grotbiter, that's surely a play on Green
Rat Spike is a reference. If you know, you know. That's
absolutely
strong.
That's a classic reference. We're just taking a look at the sprues as well. Obviously, Warhammer Underworlds miniatures, beautifully detailed miniatures, lovely, easy to assemble miniatures as well. There's ripples.
Yeah, no, I'm all in Underworlds. If that's what
Wade bought a box down from upstairs when he came with him, and I've been fiddling with them.
They're fun. They're very nice.
The bases are mega. Like, why do all the Underworlds bases look so cool?
I've picked up several Underworlds warbands simply for the scenic bases for conversions and use in other kits altogether. But sometimes people have asked in our hobby clinic shows, how do you paint models to look like it's raining? Which is a particularly deep way to think about painting models. But now there are going to be some bases with ripples and puddles of water on them. But it shows the nature of the nether maze, I guess, like deep beneath the umbral sea. There's some horrible, wet, dank places that these adventuring
this is really cool.
Of Sigmar's orders, Sigmar's Order of Azir. Don't shy away from any sorts of places where soul-like
I almost want to
might
get
be
the bins down, paint them now.
deep beneath Harrowdeep and the Nether Maze, where it's dripping with all sorts of weird, fell, grim water. But yeah, lovely way to push some of those designs and the aesthetic.
Apparently, I've been warned these miniatures actually belong to Lizzie, who was doing painting guides for them.
Painting videos to follow.
1, watch out for some quality painting guides from Lizzie, and 2, I may not steal them, which is deeply sad. Well, maybe I can at least look after the cards.
Yeah.
Right. So far, what have we had? We've had the Warcry reveal showing the Heart of Ghur.
So we've got Q Team and
really cool. We've seen the
Hexbane's
Hunters. Maybe time for a bit of Blood Bowl.
All right. This one's going to be the big one. Amazons. Yeah, it's Amazons. They look amazing. Oh, I'm so down on it. Yeah, I'm into the.
I was just trying to remember the name of the kit that I thought the heads would be really good. And then we came back to you. Hello, that was exciting. A new team for Blood Bowl, the Kara Temple Harpies, Amazons tanking to the gridiron.
Yeah, I think people have been expecting these when we saw the Norse as one of the most recent Blood Bowl teams coming out. People have been checking off their lists of classic Blood Bowl teams from previous editions. We are very much in the Blood Bowl second season edition, so people have been waiting for these to come out. So the Khorne team came out earlier in the year. I was delighted. I played a game with my Khorne team recently, but to see a classic Blood Bowl team committed to plastic form with a slight little tweak, because I think in the past they were pretty much, it was a human team. They all had dodge, they all had armor 7. That was the trade-off. And the nature of the team that works on Blood Bowl these days, they don't just take what had come before and re-release them. There are lots of little points of difference and little tweaks.
These are cool.
And we see that, I think, certainly in the naming convention that's been applied to these players. They aren't just throwers, etc. This is a Python warrior, and she's even brought the snake.
Is as you point out, the thrower, and with the current Blood Bowl, being able to throw does not necessarily mean you're able to do all the other agile things. Although the Amazons are renowned for their agility, so here is the one place that will play out. The Amazons have always been a good sort of high-speed, sort of aerial playing, but perhaps without some of that fragility of the Elven teams that you're used to seeing. So the Python Warrior is your thrower, the quarterback of the team, as it were. The Piranha Warrior, let me consult my oracle, are the Blitzers, and she does look ready to give you an absolute working over.
Yep, a good blitzen.
And then we have the Jaguar Warrior, which is the blockers and that heavier armor and things suggest.
She's also got excellent hair.
Yes, not bad. Better than mine.
These are really, really cool.
And then the Eagle Warriors, which are the line woman of the team, as it were.
Yep.
The thing that really stands out to me about this team more than anything is just how awesome the sculpts on the faces are. Whoever has done these has done an incredible job. So shout out to whoever it is in the
they have lots of different body types in this as well.
Look incredible.
You've got
they're absolutely superb. I've had the pleasure of playing Phil Kelly, the lead writer in the Warhammer Logistics My Studio. He's a big Blood Bowl fan, and he's got an excellent Amazon team he's converted a few years ago who've got excellent pun Blood Bowl names. He really leans in to the Blood Bowl convention. So his captain, I think, was called Jawanta Good Kickin'. Ralph reminded me one of the players was called Roxana Hardplace. There's all sorts of excellent names that I can't remember right now, but I expect he'll get his little mitts on this team and update maybe some of his players with a few of these newer versions. I'm looking forward to seeing other players or other coaches getting a hold of the Amazon team, because they've not really been in circulation as part of this second season edition, because not a lot of people have necessarily had a chance to experience them or what they're capable of.
This is really cool.
The quote in the video said they've got a
lot
lot
of
of
features
on the channel,
elves,
but not any of the drawbacks of being elves. They're not elves, so if people are a bit judgmental of the elven kind, they can definitely get some of the elven experience. They are slippy. Historically, I haven't seen the rules for this newer version of the team, but historically, an entire team with dodge, if you don't have an entire team with tackle, they are very difficult to knock down on the ground.
So speaking as a
entire team with dodge,
experienced player of a team that exclusively has dodge, it is very, very useful. Of course, mine are only move 5 little guys because I play halflings, and you're going to get beaten up eventually. It's just whether or not you get to dodge first. I think the Amazons offer the other end of that spectrum because they've got the movement to back it up. They're going to be able to do throwing plays, and they have got some hitting potential in the blitzers in the form of those Piranha Warriors and some durability with the Jaguar Warriors. So yes, I think there's a little bit more flex. As you can expect, they'll be backed up with all of the rules updates and things that you'd expect.
Cool.
And you've got one crushing the pumpkin head of one of the poor old. Literally just forgot the name of the team. Somebody in the chat help me out.
What I really liked as well, I saw someone in the chat demanding Slan, crying out for Slan, and the naming convention, the Python Warriors, the Piranhas, the Eagle, the Jaguar Warriors, reminded me of, because showing my age, the 3rd edition Warhammer Slan army.
For 2 seconds. Necromantic Horror Team, thank you, chat, for saving me. He was
having a wobble.
I was struggling.
He was going to have an episode.
So you were talking about the Slan?
I was, just for, grognards like ourselves. But that kind of relationship between the Amazons living in Lustria, the inheritors of some of the Slan, who had the kind of descendants of the old ones who'd come before, and they used to have Eagle Warriors and Warriors, different units named after different totem animals. And it seems like the Amazons have gone down that path as well. So a nice little nod to some of the older classic Warhammer IPs. So an excellent new Blood Bowl team coming for Blood Bowl coaches
really cool
around the world.
Yeah, I'm digging this new
I'm sorely tempted. I've got to be honest, it's been a while since I did a new Blood Bowl team. Sorely tempted. And also, got to imagine they're not horrible. And I quite like being sort of the pseudo good guys in Blood Bowl, hence the halflings. So, right. We're running ahead of schedule, but Raph hasn't told me to stop. So, in that case, why don't we turn the lights down and go into the dark?
Leagues of Odin or Jinx of the Hostesses. Leagues. Oh, Kroot. Did not see Kroot coming. What's Inquisitorial one? That's a cool set. Kroot and
Kroot. That's probably enough.
Look at him there.
Ralph's moved the picture. He can take no more. There we are. We were betting on the chat, going absolutely wild at a particular point in that video. And there we have it. So, Warhammer 40,000 kill team into the dark. You were all wrong. It is the Imperial Navy Voidsmen versus the
Imperial
Kroot
Navy.
Farstalkers
Cool.
in space. How much better than anything is that? Lots better. Let's go. Tell me all about it, Wade.
In a space Hulk. Everything's in space, but not everything's in a space Hulk. So there've been a few notions thrown around the internet sphere over the last few weeks or so.
That's really cool.
We were building up to this skirmish, summer skirmish preview with some kind of space Hulk adjacent imagery and iconography. People confidently saying they knew it was a return to the classic space Hulk, or maybe it was definitely, probably, possibly Cadian Kazakin fighting against something. No, an Imperial Navy breaching team. Sometimes a space Hulk drops out of the warp, and we'll talk about space Hulks in a moment. And the Imperial Navy, being the people who are mostly in space floating around in giant Imperial battleships, they might put out a request to the Blood Angels to say, do you have one of those Terminator squads that, formed some wonderfully iconic images of our childhoods, boarding space Hulks to clear out gene stealers? And Dante says, we've got a few Tyranid-related problems of our own right now. Can you deal with it yourselves? And the Navy says, actually, yes, we can. We've got breaching teams to go onto space Hulks and clear out any of the nasty, gribbly things that might exist. Exactly, they just can breach that Hulk. And here we can see a few of those representatives.
This is pretty cool.
So the iconography on the chest plate you can see is the symbol of the Imperial Navy. We saw the Voidsmen at Arms, who were maybe a similar sort of take on this Space Marines with small like S and M, like Marines in space, but not the Adeptus Astartes, warriors of the Navy that would go and fight on spaceships that were humans, not augmented, not super soldiers, not genetically augmented killing machines, just straightforward humans that might have their own clear, horrifying nightmare ships from hell.
This is what you want.
Terrifying.
Warcry does this really well, where we've got all these cool warbands and the different things we don't normally see in armies. I'm glad that Kill Team's gone down that route, seeing things like the Eldar Corps, Imperial Navy,
that was a triple barrel shotgun,
and all of that. I think this is what I want to see in Kill Team.
And I agree with my first question. I think the bottom thing is either the protuberance that is the end of a magazine, you know how shotgun often they have like a long stack magazine, or it's a torch, or it's a laser, because that is a double barrel shotgun. On the poking through the breaching shield.
Yeah, and similar, the one on the left, you can see there is a shell being ejected from the single ejection port.
Well, that's cool.
The same protuberance underneath each barrel. And the one on the right has two ejection ports, two barrels, and a similar protuberance. Let's say protuberance a bit more.
Join us for Adam and Wade getting nerdy about guns. But that was a top observation, and I love it. Also, look how the slide on the shotgun slots into the sort of crenellation on that shield, so that you can rack your shotgun while still holding the shield.
Yep.
Whoever designed these deserves a mighty high five in the corridors, the hallowed halls of Games Workshop headquarters. The other thing is, yes, they would be awesome for Crusaders, Inquisition warbands, to go alongside your Rogue Trader. They would look pretty dope in Necromunda if you convert them to be Venators, or goodness knows what else.
Yep.
These are exciting. Whew.
But potentially more exciting.
My heart bursts with
Kinban.
Unmitigated joy at the arrival of my favourite aliens in all of Warhammer 40,000. More Kroot, more often. The Kroot Farstalker Kinband. Oh, Wade, tell us something about these.
So we saw the Kroot revealed or released alongside the first plastic Tau, and I think some of the design archaeology of the Tau and the Kroot suggested that they were first worked up in concert with each other, and the decision was yet to be taken as to which of those races would be like the dominant one. And the Tau kind of came ahead, and we've seen more Tau kits revealed, and the Kroot haven't really had a major release ever since the first Kroot Carnivore squad of the first Tau Codex back in 2001. And then we saw Dayak Grek coming along as an adventurer in Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress.
Who was, until today, the best Kroot I'd ever seen.
Fan favourite. So here we see the Farstalker.
This is really, really cool.
That the Kroot are mercenaries.
I liked all the stuff we've seen from
critters. You can see that shape a character in the middle with a Tau pulse rifle that does not look like he's necessarily been like looking after it particularly well. It's a bit scratched up.
He's got it's mine and you can't have it, but like he's holding it above the Tau. You're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, come up and reach it. I've got long arms. I love his pestle, like mortar and pestle combination, like the skull and little bone that he's got tucked into his belt.
I also want to know who he gets to push the rock round for him inside the confines.
So we have had Age of Sigmar. We've got a new Witch Hunter warband.
It has a name. It's called the
Gallowda. And we've got the Starter Set and the Myber.
No, well, like the Sin of Damnation. I think was the one for
revealed for a new
Space
Warcry
Hulk game. So
Starter
Space
Set
Hulks
in Ghur
are it's a great opportunity for us to take a look inside Space Hulks, because this is going to be a bit like Warcry is going to be looking at the Gnarlwood, and releases for Warcry to follow will also be set in the Gnarlwood to build up a bit of a sense of what's going on in there. Subsequent releases for the upcoming season of Kill Team will be taking place in and around more of the Gallowdark as people try to explore what's going on. So they tend to be vomited out of warp storms or trapped in the warp, and the culmination or combination of lots of different bits of essentially space flotsam and jetsam. Imagine a shipwreck, but made up of tens of thousands of years worth of human and alien ships
and rocks
mashed together around the warp, and asteroids and all sorts of things.
I'm going to put a hold on one of the things. Somebody's saying, "Oh, but only 7 models." Obviously, not only 7 models. We're like Kill Team typically has 2 full-size warbands, or Kill Teams is probably the correct word. There will be 2 full-size Kill Teams, and I'm sure you might get a glimpse of a little bit more of some of the setting and surroundings and things in the future. So do not panic. There is a lot more Kroot. Don't you worry.
Yeah. And it's your Kroot hounds as well.
I know, and we have a genuine best dog of the day competition, which I'd be interested in chat if you have firm opinions on whether it is the dogs that belong to Hexbane's Hunters or the dogs that belong to the Farstalkers. I would like to know.
Grotbiter or Ratspike or Kroot hounds. And we also saw, as part of the reveal and the build-up to the setting the expectation, the bait and switch with the Space Hulk reveals. We saw the cat unit, the cyber-assisted.
Which so you could compare cat to hound.
They've got cat and dog, cat and dog. But yeah, I think and just seeing that variety, the different skin tones that you can see, the different green skin tones, the different bionic bits that these Kroot have got. They look like hard-bitten. They look like a hard-bitten crew. They don't necessarily look like a unit that's been co-opted by the Tau Empire, which is what the Kroot Carnivore squad that we're familiar with in Warhammer 40,000 is. They've definitely got a lot more personality. And as and when more details get revealed on Warhammer Community in the build-up to Kill Team Into the Dark,
pretty happy with it. There's been some cool reveals. I think Necromunda's by far
of each of these Kill Teams.
Least exciting.
Team.
Exactly, and
underworlds, Kill Team,
specialist roles for each team,
Blood Bowl, all been really
and
cool.
models that coincide with those that are in the set. I mean, I'm probably not allowed to talk about, for example, the Kroot Pistolier, who is like a Kroot rocking it round the inside of his Space Hulk with essentially Kroot type 6 shooters, but we will not mention that for now. Although if I'd seen it, it would be about the best thing I'd seen all day. So, Raph, hit the next slide before I reveal more things. So can I possibly use my Kill Team in space if I've already got a Kill Team and it's not one of these Kill Teams? The answer is yes. Not only do we expect you to, we encourage it. Imagine if you could, how cool it would be to have Deathcore Krieg fighting Tau Fire Warriors.
That'd be pretty cool. In a Space Hulk. That would be fantastic. So this is not a new rules set. This is a great opportunity for anyone who's not yet started playing Kill Team to get on board. There's going to be complete rules, the complete rule set for playing Kill Team, as well as rules for fighting in the close confines, such as you would find inside a Space Hulk, as well as the Kill Team rules for the Naval Breaching Team and the Farstalker Kinband. But it's not just an expansion for the existing game. So it's a great way to get on board and have everything that you need to start playing Kill Team in one set.
I've been happy. It's been really nice reveals.
The existing Kill Teams. It's not a new addition of the rules. It's just an update and taking it into a new environment.
Very particular setting. Well done. Somebody in the chat has gone, wait, is that a plastic floor? Well, I'm sure there will be more to talk about with regards to exactly where they are fighting very soon. How exciting.
How should the Krieg
I feel like in many ways, whilst the Kroot and the Navy Woodsman, tremendously exciting reveal in its own right, and the concept of this
we're going to actually get like design Mortals tiles from DW. That'd be really cool.
1/4 of the universe converging to fight battles in space. It's also a massive tease, right? And I'm not even that sorry for it. Andrelli says, I want plastic floor, and don't we all? So let's see what comes in good time. And if you've said, but I really want to Kill Team Witches, and then you've shouted the name of the thing you like, maybe you'll get it. I don't know, especially if they're like in space a bit. That'd be cool. Right. I'm observing the time, and I wish to do a brief recap of the awesome things we've seen. So today, Wade, we have had the joy of seeing the new Warcry reveal with Heart of Ghur. Wade has been carefully holding the books under his desk. Here is the picture of the box. Heart of Ghur, Skirmish combat in the Realm of Beasts.
Yeah, this was
amazing new setting for Warcry.
I don't think this is my favourite thing. I think Witch Hunters by far are my favourite
thing. And ready for fighting in an environment where everything is trying to kill everything else.
Yep.
Gotta love it. Obviously, we saw the Goliath Marauders.
Yes, my boys.
Basically, the best thing on wheels and or tracks or whatever that spindly thing was that was just like a spiky appendage for driving on. Chains for hair.
They've reinvented the wheel because they've made it out of a buzzsaw. They're geniuses, the Goliaths. Look at them.
I think when these release, we basically all need to agree to just share the thing we've made that isn't actually a Goliath out of it, because I can't wait to see what everybody does. Fantastic. We next had Hexbane's Hunters. This warband looks sensational. It's a glorious nod to the world that was and that beloved Witch-Hunter warband from Mordheim, but it's also a nod to the Order of Azir, Sigmar's own special hunter force, rooting out evil and banishing it with like guns and stakes and magic potions.
And dogs.
And dogs. First dogs of the day. Chat went mad. There's a guy in chat who's just determined to say Fimir. I love his enthusiasm, but it just ain't happening today. Next, we had the Amazon team, Blood Bowl team.
These are
so
really cool,
sort of alternate version of the world that was, as it were. Hailing from Lustria, determined to conquer all on the gridiron. Incredible models. 10 out of 10 for whoever did the faces in particular. Absolutely stellar work. And then we rounded it all off with just about the most exciting thing you could possibly hope to see, which is Kill Team coming to space, new Kroot warband, also some other things in the set, like the Imperial Navy Breachers, but mostly all the Kroot, all the time. I am just made up.
Like really individual sort of
it's a
warbands.
great expression of one of the best things about these sorts of skirmish games is it gives the miniatures designers and the studios a great opportunity to show off the sorts of things that we definitely know exist in the mortal realms, the grim darks of the far future, but we don't necessarily fit into the convention of army. So naval breaching team, you don't send a naval breaching team into Warhammer 40,000 because you've got the Astra Militarum to do that. You've got the army. That's what the army is. But sometimes you don't get the army to go and do boarding actions on a spaceship because you've only got the navy to do that sort of thing. You don't necessarily have mercenary squads of Kroot because they get stepped on by a Titan if they're on a Warhammer 40,000 battlefield. But you can't fit a Titan and a Space Hulk very easily. Never say never, of course, but we'll wait and see. Likewise, Hexbane's Hunters, the Army of Azir, the Order of Azir, represented in the mortal realms, definitely in Black Library fiction, definitely creeping around doing all sorts of good stuff.
Soul Man role-playing game.
Absolutely, superb. And Callus and Toll, we've seen them doing some investigative work before in Black Library books. They're definitely there, but again, they might get stepped on by a Mega Gargant very easily if they're on a battlefield. But again, difficult to fit a Mega Gargant into the Warhammer Underworlds environment. So a great way to see more of what we know exists and let the miniatures designers flex their muscles and show us what that looks like in glorious plastic.
So I agree. First of all, I think you found something really interesting. I could wax lyrical about it. If we had another hour, I would start pontificating on all the cool things that are like tiny little dark corners of the worlds of Warhammer.
Maybe,
I would like
maybe
to
another preview.
Out.
Maybe another preview.
One day, maybe. Or Adam and Wade, just allowed to chatter about nonsense for an hour. I would like to know, chat, you've been with us for the last 60 minutes. What is your favourite thing you've seen today? Let us know in the chat. I, for one, am excited. Hit us. Dogs. I did.
What was everyone's favourite thing?
The Witch Hunter. Somebody says none of it. Well, I think you have come with the wrong attitude, so, or madam. A lot of Kroot, Plastic Floor, Void Team, Goliath Bike, a lot of Warcry. Somebody desperate for Fimir, bless them. Witch Hunters. I think it's fair to say that we've had a nice sort of blend of things from all the floor. A blend of things. We're all innocent men. I guess this is the bit where I round up. First of all, I would like to thank all of you, just marvellous people who've joined us in the chat. More than 18,000 of you right now choosing to spend a bit of your Sunday with us, hanging out, being excited about Warhammer. Thank you to Raph. He is the tech priest with the mostest. Also, fix the sound issues when they read the head. There were no sound issues in the practice, we promise. Thank you to Notley, Moderati Supreme, just making sure the chat behaved. And you are the chat who did behave, so thank you for making his life easy.
So into the skirmish.
Lastly, Wade, thank you to you for being a person who knew all the answers to things that I didn't, and to all the people in the Warhammer studios who made these super dope models, because I'm like beyond hyped. So basically, if you made, painted, wrote, edited, did a box or whatever, awesome work. I am hyped. This is it from me. We'll see you again very soon. Bye.
Cool. That is that. And we're back. Well, Well, that's going to be it for me for the night, everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming, hanging out, chatting, and hobbying with us tonight. We will be back soon. Let us know what your favorite thing was. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can come join YouTube members or Patreon, both of which are linked down in the video's description, and come chat with us in our Discord server as well. Once again, linked in the video's description. I'm going to go to bed. It's late here in Australia, 11:30 p.m. So I will catch you all real soon. Thank you all for coming and hanging out. We're doing more hobby hangouts, as I said. Quit the day job today. So this is going to be a much more common thing. So look forward to coming and chatting with you all very soon. Once again, stay safe, everyone. Stay well. And most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.